Alright, everybody. So if you've been watching me for a while, you'll know that I've really been trying to get into the red pill sphere more in regards to my criticism, since I really do think that in this current day and age, as far as right-wing radicalization goes, there are two main spheres of online content creation where the right is heavily focusing their attention right now. That is media review and criticism, so that's like, you know, your Mahler types, your critical drinker types, geeks and gamers, no bullshit, though he's gone now, you know, the quartering, etc., cinema sins and what have you, although cinema sins is far less political. And then on the other side of things, you've got the more radical anti-LGBT, anti-woman red pill crowd, like your Andrew Tate, Sneeko, Aiden Ross types, right? These people have gotten really big. And one of the people to rise up within the red pill sphere has been a woman by the name of, I think her name is Hannah Pearl Davis. Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that's her true name, but she goes by JustPearlyThings online, which is what I'm going to call her because that's what I've known her as for like a year plus online, and I'm bad at name changes. You know, when it comes to trans people, I'm very good at adapting to name changes, but when it comes to, like, rebrands for YouTubers, way harder. Anyway, that said, JustPearlyThings is possibly one of the dumbest and most mask-off of reactionaries within the sphere. I don't think it's really controversial to say that she's not a very impressive woman, insofar as the looks department. I'm not saying this because I disagree with her politically, but, like, and this absolutely plays very significantly into the criticism that we have of her, because she takes a lot of time and effort to criticize the appearance of other women. So we're gonna go ahead and throw stones right at her glass house. I actually went out of my way to find a photo of her where she actually looks pretty good. This is her. Listen, if you look like her, you are not an unattractive woman, but you are not attractive enough, I should say, to throw as much shade as this woman does at other women's appearances. She spends a lot of time calling other women ugly, saying they're going to be washed out and burned out by the time they're in their 20s or 30s or whatever. She's 26 apparently. Oh. Yeah. Ooh. Oof. She looks better on video. Does she really? Hatred ages people? I think selling your soul ages you, frankly. Because JustPearlyThings is a very evident grifter. I think it's obvious based on anything you could see from her that she is desperately trying to appeal to angry, young, horny men who've not lost their virginities yet, trying to make it seem as though she is this woman who has betrayed the sisterhood of femoids and is now leaking all of women's secrets about how they manipulate and harm men to, you know, guys online, for a price, of course. It's a very blatant grift, I think we can all tell, but recently, she decided to really just die on the hill of defending the more pedophilic aspect of the red pill crowd. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but red pillars do tend to be, at the very least, subtly pedophilic in their messaging. It's always very obvious in the way they speak that they are, at the very least, willing to fetishize underage women in their youth. And this is obviously something that the broader world has a bit of a negative opinion on, to say the least. And because of that, I guess Pearl Davis thought it would be a good idea to act as, like, the woman who takes the contradictory side of things and actually defends this pedophilic position, and decides to come out with this phenomenal tweet. Reminder, by the way, she's 26 years old. She tweeted, now deleted, about 2 days ago, 16-year-old chicks, that's what she's calling them, are hotter than 26-year-old chicks? Ooh. Ah. Yikes. Yowie wowie. You. I genuinely don't believe this is Pearl Davis indicating that she is a pedophile interested in 16-year-old girls. What I think this is her recognizing the massive pedophile demographic within her audience and deciding it is time to capitalize on that and go all in. I really do think this is what's going to bring down the current era of right-wing demagoguery that we're in. The fact that so much right-wing hysteria ammo, or right-wing hysteria power has been pushed and focused on claiming that gay and trans people are predators that are going after children, only to then focus so much of their defense and rhetoric around championing the idea of teenage girls getting pregnant, getting into relationships and having sex with older men, arranged marriages, getting rid of contraception so that, underage girls who are raped by older men are forced to carry the pregnancy to term. Like, this type of messaging is going to backfire on them very hard when their main demographic in their audience start gaining the ability to think critically. That time is going to come. It's a slow, kind of prolonged thing. It happens in sort of waves, but it's gonna happen, and it's not going to be pretty. In fact, I think we're already well down that road, considering just a day ago, this viral interview between Piers Morgan, fuck him, by the way, he's an awful piece of shit, but, he's got this sort of appeal as, like, the British right-wing guy who's somewhat moderate by American standards, who conservatives will actually go on and talk with, because they'll be on TV and all that. And so he admittedly has kind of humiliated a few far-right reactionaries in the past. He's flubbed some interviews with others. I know not what to expect from this interview. Apparently, neither of them do all that well, but it still makes Pearl look really bad. That's the only real indication I've gotten of what the material content of this video actually is. So this came out just a day ago. It's fresh off the presses, guys, and we're gonna check it out. It's 14 minutes long, and knowing me, that means it's gonna be more like an hour long, so let's go ahead and speed it up to 1.2 times speed. Piers Morgan and Pearl Davis also speak pretty slowly, so yeah, we're gonna speed that up a little bit. Let's do this.
Welcome back to JustPearlyThings. Pearl Davis is the self-styled.
Okay, never mind. He does not speak that slowly. I can't understand British. I can't understand the British language sped up that much. Never mind. Never the fucking mind. That wasn't English.
Welcome back to JustPearlyThings. Pearl Davis is the self-styled.
That's not English either, even at normal speed.
Anti-feminist influencer, creating major buzz online with a contrarian view. She's appeared in a couple of debates on this show. It's called Uncensored after all. We welcome any honestly held opinions. But this week, she's facing a major backlash for posting a song titled Why Can't We Talk About the Jews, which she dedicated.
Oh yeah, we covered that a couple days ago. I don't know if the video's on YouTube yet, but Pearl Davis released a YouTube video the other day, or a Twitter video the other day, where she's playing a guitar and she sings a song where the chorus is basically on repeat, why can't we talk about the Jews, and just JQing, but in the form of a song. I think that was deleted too. So, yeah, let's... Oh, he shows it? Perfect!
Dedicated to far-right commentator Nick Fuentes before later deleting it.
Yeah, it was dedicated to Nick Fuentes. She looks bewildered that he's bringing it up. Like, Pearl Davis's shtick is to go on to, like, lefty debate shows and get blown the fuck out. But her fallback will always be that she's a woman and women are stupid. And that's the entire point she's trying to prove. So even if she loses a debate, that actually kind of proves her correct in the end, because that just proves she's dumb and she's a woman. So then she's just proved that women are dumb by being dumb and losing the debate. So it's like, you can't win. Like, she actually wins no matter what, believe it or not.
Why can't we talk about the...
I'm not bopping to this, I'm sorry.
Without getting kicked off of YouTube. Now,
stop it.
I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I kinda wanna know why. Now there's all these conspiracy theories, and the more they talk, I think maybe they're right. But I can't even listen to the convo.
Well,
Nazi gossip train. Oh, God.
Paul joins me now, along with the New York author and founder of End Jew Hatred, Brooke Goldstein, over in the States.
Oh, my
Right,
God.
Paul,
This is going to be interesting.
you've come on the show a couple of times, right? We've had some spirited debates about feminism and stuff like that, and I thought you've made some good points, and it's got lots of traction. Then I wake up the other day and I see this thing that's trending involving you doing this song. And I couldn't really believe what I was watching. I didn't know, why did you find it funny?
Huh?
Did you find it funny? I mean, you know the backlash to it. I mean, you deleted it. You obviously thought you shouldn't have posted it. Why did you do that? Genuine question.
I mean, the point was
Okay.
more of
Okay, she's a Nazi. Is it okay if I go, like, ridiculously mean? Okay, why she look like she had a stroke? Has she had a stroke recently? Or is this like a botched Botox job? I'm really curious because this is interesting what her eyes are doing here. I'm pretty certain this was like some botched cosmetic surgery or coke. You guys think this is caused by coke? Yeah, maybe. If she looks fucking weird here. Benzos, you think? She does act like she's on downers. She sounds like a fucking space cadet 24/7. Like, I don't think you guys realize I am stoned out of my mind 99% of the time on stream. I'm stoned as fuck right now, and you can hear me talking right now, and I'm relatively coherent. I can form a sentence and get it out of my mouth pretty quickly. She mumbles and just kind of with her speak. She's not even high on weed if she's high on something. She's high on something.
Genuine question.
I mean, the point was more about cancel culture and people getting kicked off of social media if you finish the song. It was more about, like,
It was more about cancel culture than the several lines about, why I'm starting to believe in anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, It was mostly about cancel culture. Like, they will literally... Isn't it crazy how cancel culture was just like this meme that everybody was pushing about how the left has gone too far just a couple years ago, and now we've got full-on neo-Nazis talking about how it's cancel culture to call them out for saying the Jews control the world and pushing the JQ? Like, we've really gone full circle. I feel like we're approaching the tipping point where this just can't go any further. They can't stretch the truth and spin the lies anymore.
Like, you can't talk about this topic without being canceled by the left and the right. I don't really have a strong opinion either way. It was kind of just like tongue-in-cheek. I didn't really expect it to get that crazy. It wasn't dedicated to anyone. I don't know why they say that, but that's not true.
She says this is dedicated to Nick Fuentes in the video, or in the tweet, sorry. She literally said in her tweet that it was dedicated to Nick Fuentes. Okay, so is she just gonna get blown the fuck out for lying?
I mean, Nick Fuentes is a white supremacist. He's a Holocaust denier. He said afterwards that you had dropped a diss track on the Jews, which he clearly took to be something which was, mocking Jewish people, talking about, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I want to know why. What do you want to know why?
Well, also, she specifically said in the tweet that it was dedicated to Nick Fuentes, not that, like, the claim that it wasn't is just blatantly false. We covered that video. She said in the tweet that it was dedicated to Nick Fuentes.
Well, it was more like, why can't we talk about it? It wasn't like
You talked
one
about
way
the
or
more
the
conspiracy
other.
theories you've heard about Hitler and the Holocaust, presumably.
I'm a fan of conspiracy theory. Like, people think I'm part of the CIA. There's a whole conspiracy thing online. And, I'm not for, like, silencing it either way. The point of the song isn't, like, I really have an opinion on the matter. It's more, I don't think we should ban people off of social media. So far so that I don't even, I think it should be illegal to ban anybody off of social media unless they're inciting violence. That
Even pedophiles, dude. Jesus. That really does make sense. It's crazy how quickly it all comes around to just, like, nothing should be illegal. Like, it should be illegal to ban. Yeah, no. She wants there to be legal punishment for platforms banning people off of their platform if it's not violence or inciting violence. Elon Musk agrees with this position, by the way. That's how he runs Twitter. The funny thing is, by the way, that it always comes around to essentially enabling child predators. Isn't that funny? Like, somebody sent me something the other day where, oh, God, you guys are going to like this. You little drama goblins in chat are going to like this. Hypers in chat, if you're a drama goblin, you're going to like this. Fuck, I don't remember the exact details what this person told me, but I'll tell you the most important parts. Essentially, there was some Twitter interaction that happened. I'm not on Twitter anymore because I'm banned and I can't see tweets, so, like, I didn't see this go down. But I had screenshots of it sent to me, and apparently there was, like, some drama that happened. Shoe on Head jumped in to support the person who was, like, being transphobic or weird or something like that. I don't remember exactly what, and then followed them. The thing is, apparently the account that she followed is, like, a lolicon account. Like, they're a right-winger, like, they're a conservative, but, like, half their content is about how they're a conservative and right-wing shit, and the other half is lolicon shit. So, yeah. Not good. Not good. Not good. And I'm not saying that makes Shu sussy, I'm saying that makes Shu hypocritical. She literally helped push, like, a massive conspiracy theory about some random clothing company being, like, a pedo marketing subliminal messaging conspiracy, and yet she's fine with the weirdos on the right. I don't know. It's all hypocrisy. Every conservative who does the think about the children thing doesn't actually mean it. They're just doing it to try to make themselves seem like they are morally superior. Because let's be honest, I think we can all admit, pretty much the most heroic thing you can do as a person is, like, save children. Like, protecting children from harm is pretty much, like, the most heroic thing you can do as a person. So fronting yourself online as somebody who's out there protecting children is a really good way to sort of, artificially make yourself look like some kind of morally pure hero. And that's what a lot of these conservatives do.
That was the point of the song. I'm not really... It was more like tongue-in-cheek.
But just to be clear, what are the conspiracy theories surrounding Hitler, which you feel the more you hear them, the more you're interested in them?
Well, I don't know, because I can't hear them.
Huh?
I don't know
the ones that Nick Fuentes...
Well,
Shu followed fucking Fate, CEO of Fate. Who's that? CEO of Fate? I don't know who that is. Is that, like, a big Twitter person? No, CEO of Fate was an honest-to-God lolicon? Oh, is that the person? I don't know the person's name. I'm sorry. This shit's like... Guys, I don't think you guys know how little space in my brain that I put... That I keep for... oh, yeah. Okay, I think it was that account. Yeah. Okay, I think that was the account then. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that's a big lolicon account and that she followed. Okay, yeah, that's the person. Xanderhall, the group behind the Sound of Freedom, is literally would literally go places and made demand for child prostitutes, hashtag protect kids, or protect kids, quote unquote, is always bullshit on the right. Jesus Christ. We're in crazy times, boys. We're in crazy times. I'm just excited to see where it's going. I'm just here for it, bro. I'm here for it, okay? I'm just excited to see whether or not the internet just fucking explodes because this all just spirals out of control, you know? Like, honestly, who knows? Maybe we go full cyberpunk and the old internet gets eradicated and we end up having a new net. Like, we have the old net, but then the new net gets built on top of it. And cyberpunk was right the whole time. Who knows what's going to happen?
Well, I wasn't even talking about Nick. I was thinking of Ye, to be honest. I don't know why they put that Nick was the inspiration for that song. I was thinking of Ye.
You are aware of the big backlash.
Ye is also a Nazi. a Holocaust denier, a JQer, so, and also friends with Nick Fuentes, so, yeah. Also, Kanye did kind of get, like, legit canceled, though. Like, is he still around? I literally don't hear about him anymore. Like I genuinely don't hear about him anymore, and he was a big deal. Not really. I mean, but, like, in the grand scheme of things, he seems like he took a pretty big hit. We'll have to find out when he releases a new album. He hasn't really released much music recently, so I guess he, didn't he renounce his Nazi card because of 21... No. 21 Jump Street made him like Jewish people again, but then he watched 22 Jump Street, and now he doesn't like Jewish people again, so... What can you do? I liked 22 Jump Street, so I don't know where he's coming from, but yeah, that... He really needs to take his meds, okay?
And the deep upset.
I'm not even joking. Wait, I'm not even joking, by the way. I'm genuinely not even joking. What? Kanye West posted on Instagram, watching Jonah Hill in 21 Jump Street made me like Jewish people again. No one should take anger against one or two individuals and transform that into hatred towards millions of innocent people. No Christian can be labeled anti-Semitic, knowing Jesus is Jew. Thank you, Jonah Hill. I love you.
Certainly am now. I just posted that song and I woke up and I was like, article. I was like, golly.
Right, but are you sorry?
Crazy. You know, I think that, like, my whole point was that cancel culture is wrong. I am not speaking one way or the other about the issues. My question is, why?
So what she's trying to do right now is go on TV and appeal to a broad conservative audience with the whole cancel culture bad narrative, but she's having to deflect questions about her song she just sung about why can't we talk about the Jews. It's like she can't pull off the dog whistle because she's just had she's had all the mask ripped off her face on live television. She can't appeal to that broad conservative demographic. All she has to appeal to here are Nazis. She's been unmasked before the interview even started. But she's just asking questions. That's the framing she's trying to take, yeah.
Are we canceled for talking about certain topics?
So you would allow Holocaust deniers to have space on social media to promote Holocaust denial to millions of people? You have 2 million people who subscribe to your YouTube, right? That's a big audience of people.
I'm not at 2 million yet. I'd like to be.
Right, but you have a lot of people that follow you on various social media platforms.
Yeah.
You put a video like that up, and there are going to be some impressionable young minds going, hang on, what's Pearl saying? Adolf Hitler? Not saying he's a good guy, but I want to know why. The more conspiracies theories I hear, the more I have to think about it.
But
I took that to mean that you agree with Fuentes and people like that.
Why did you cut off the end of the song? I said, but we can't even have the conversation.
What is the conversation you want to have?
Without being canceled by the left and the right. But the point is any speech.
No,
I think
it's the left
and the right.
What is the conversation about Hitler and conspiracy theories and the Holocaust that you want to have?
The people on the right who go after her are the people who are pissed that she's giving away the game. She has to play into the dumb femoid angle for her own personal grift, which kind of brings down the rest of right-wing red pill YouTube with her, because she's just giving away the entire game and not playing it subtle like all of them do. Because if she did that, she would be kind of behaving in such a way that would kind of destroy all of her arguments about women being irrational and incapable of thought. Because at that point, she is just not living any of the principles that she preaches, and her own existence is a debunking of her arguments. It's a big part of why, like, in the end, Lauren Southern didn't really take off as big as she theoretically could have in the right. Because, like, a lot of conservatives don't want to hear a woman who doesn't live the principles that conservatives push tell them what they're doing. And when a woman lives the principles that conservatives push, they can't really manage an online media career doing politics. So, like, those things just don't go hand in hand. So you'll find that a lot of these women that are big in the conservative sphere, unless they're in politics as a career, they don't, like, as like a politician, like your Marjorie Taylor Greene types, they don't really last long in the conservative media circuit, because if they don't live their principles, they get called out for that, and men on the right hate them and grow resentment for them. And if they do live out their principles, it's just kind of impractical and impossible to keep up that media circuit career.
I don't want to have any conversation. My lane is feminism. That's what
Well, you're singing about Adolf Hitler.
Can I finish?
Yeah, but you are singing about Hitler.
Okay.
So you do want to have that conversation.
I want anybody that wants to speak on social media to be able to speak about what they want to talk about.
Including Holocaust
without
denial.
getting banned. Whatever they want to talk about.
Including Holocaust denial.
If they want to talk about that, as long as they're not inciting violence, I think people...
Of course they're inciting violence. They're inciting a hatred of Jewish people.
Social media is the new...
So, you'll get a lot of smiley, charismatic, not in the case of Pearl, but, you know, I'd say that Nick Fuentes has a certain charisma to him, especially with Zoomers. You'll get a lot of smiley, charismatic, DreamWorks face-wearing grifters who will tell you it isn't violent or inciting violence to question the official narrative, as they'll call it, about the Holocaust. We're just asking questions. Well, back then they called it just asking questions. Now they say we're just trying to have the conversation. That's the new version of just asking questions, which is more of a meme for, it was the dog whistle they'd use when they'd embrace anti-Semitism back in like 2014 to 2017. But nowadays the term is just trying to have the conversation. We can't have the conversation without getting canceled, that type of narrative. Necessarily pushing Holocaust denial is inciting violence. If it is true, and that's a big if, because this is not true. We're talking about a hypothetical scenario here. Let's say the insane fantasy world the Nazis online try to twist up was true, that the Holocaust did not actually happen, and that it was, like, made up or whatever, then by necessity, all of the other conspiracies attached to it would have to be true as well. And at that point, you've got the only prospect being that Jewish people control the world. They push this false historical narrative about them being genocided to help grapple power or whatever, and now they're doing, like, the Great Replacement and everything. There is no other conclusion one can glean from that, realistically, other than it's time to take up arms and engage in violence, which is why so many neo-Nazis write their manifestos after shooting up synagogues about how all it took to get them to do this was hearing about these conspiracy theories. Yep, it's the big lie. So, essentially, my point being that there is no harmless Nazi. There is no harmless anti-Semite. They are all harmful because, historically speaking, verifiably, Jewish people have been disproportionately the largest victim of, like, what you could consider a hate crime since before the term hate crime or the concept of a hate crime even existed. Jewish people have been enslaved, tortured, genocided, and otherwise oppressed for literally hundreds and thousands of years. Like, it's actually fucking insane. There are conspiracy theories. There are insane urban legends that go back thousands of years that are extraordinarily anti-Semitic, and Jewish people for longer, like, just insane, longer than nations have risen and fallen, have been the victims of anti-Semitism. This shit goes back really far in human history. That said, we know the pattern. The pattern has been around for a very long time. So with that said, we know what happens when anti-Semitism and these conspiracies are allowed to broil. Historically, every single time it has led to genocide, enslavement, and death. Every time that's where it leads, if it is not stomped out before it can gain any real traction.
Town square, right? You used to be able to go and say your opinions in the town square. Now we have corporations censoring what can and cannot be said. And I think that's wrong. I think that should be illegal.
Well, let me bring in Brooke, who's been listening to this. Brooke, I don't think Pearl quite understands why the wording of this song, which she deleted, to be clear, so obviously realised this had not played up.
Off of Elon Musk's Twitter, by the way.
Maybe the way she hoped. the offence it's caused to the Jewish community. Why was it so offensive?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on and for highlighting this issue. Not necessarily highlighting Pearl, but highlighting the issue that what you pointed out is that we're really facing a crisis of societal conscience, where someone like Pearl, who engages in hate speech, and actually the irony is she's complaining about being canceled, and yet she's on your platform.
God, it really sucks that they're so bad at, like, arguing with people like this. Like, if it, like, I could do better than they do. Like, it's not that they're wrong, it's that they moralize. You can't moralize with these people. You can see the grin on her face. She has no soul. You can't moralize her. You can't moralize her audience. The most you can hope for is that your moralizing will appeal to the broader audience watching this interview. But I've seen the internet reaction to this, and besides the people, you know, as expected, calling Pearl dumb, they're also giving shit to the interviewers, or the you know, Piers Morgan and the other side of the debate here, because moralizing in debates does not fly with the internet. You have to be a super big brain logic bro. Using anything that could be interpreted as feelings for your arguments will immediately get you shot down. The comment section on this video shows it. It's bad. Yeah. Yeah, as I would expect exactly that. That doesn't surprise me, a pillow.
Platform. She has millions of viewers on the internet and on social media, and she's complaining about being canceled. The crisis is that this is what is profitable now. This clickbait, this type of racial incitement
she is right here, though.
Is profitable.
Nothing she's saying
internet.
is wrong.
And, you know, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to Pearl. I don't know if she's just plain stupid or she's actually quite intelligent and knows that what she's doing is so sensational that it's going to make her a...
Okay, actually, she is... this woman's doing pretty well, actually. I take back what I said before. This woman's actually doing pretty well.
A lot of money. But I want to say one thing. Pearl will disappear. She will disappear.
True.
Like many
Wait,
others
she's actually
before
spot
her,
on.
because this is something that's just a moment in time. She's like a train wreck. It's like a car crash. You know, for example, you can't, you know, you shouldn't be looking at it, but you can't take your eyes off it. But I want to make one more point. I think it's so important.
Oh my God, she's just
especially
spitting.
on this platform. Hatred is taught. Nobody is born like this. And I talk about it a lot in my book.
Okay, I stand this woman. All right, she's pretty based.
About the dangers of hate education. And it's not something that we can debate, that we can engage in a rational argument with. You can see what her opinions are.
Well, she's partially right. You can debate it, but you can't engage in a rational argument with it. You have to dunk on it, which is what she's doing right now. So I think the point she's making is you can't debate it, you can't argue it logically, you have to dunk on it, is what I think she's trying to say. But yeah, sorry. My misinterpretation. I'm sorry, this woman is based.
She thinks women shouldn't vote, women shouldn't have the right to divorce. She thinks that women shouldn't be able to work. She says these
I didn't say
crazy
that.
things
now
about,
you're putting words in my...
Oh my God, imagine going on cable news and saying based after all these statements that like 99% of the population thinks are heinous. God, she's just not good at keeping the mask on. She's trying to, but she's also just not good at it because she doesn't know that like most men are not this vitriolically misogynistic. Like most dudes are a little misogynistic, but they're not this vitriol. None of them, like, most men don't believe women shouldn't be allowed to vote. Like, that's not the level of misogynistic most men are. Most men just have a little bit of, you know, iffy opinions, iffy, you know, learned biases and whatnot, those kind of things.
Hitler. But there's no rational, please don't interrupt. There's no rational argument with someone like this. And this is a mistake that my community makes, the Jewish community, very often, that they think they can bring facts to the table, that they can debate somebody like Pearl, and it's, you know, you're going to get somewhere. You're not going to get anywhere. You're going to get somewhere only by shedding the light on this type of bigotry.
She's completely correct.
All right, let me just
the crazy person that she is.
All right, bro, let me go back to Pearl. Pearl, let me just offer you some advice, right? Because I don't think you're stupid. And in the 2 appearances you've made previously on this program, I thought it was interesting. It was controversial in some ways, but actually a lot of people would have agreed with some of the things he was saying. There's no question about that. But you seem to know where the line was. Someone like Nick Fuentes doesn't know where the line is. Someone like Kanye West, who I interviewed after he went on some weird anti-Semitic trope nonsense. Kanye's been wiped out by what he did, or what he said about the Jewish people, because there are certain things where I am absolutely in support of the concept of free speech, right? But you can't go around telling Jewish people the Holocaust didn't happen as Fuentes. And people are like, Fuentes does say things like that.
But I'm not him. So you're bringing me up. So it's like...
No, but when you sing a song,
right,
and you talk about
who
Hitler,
determines what the line is, Pierce?
Well, I'm asking
who determines? Do you get to determine it?
No,
Does she get to determine
I'm asking you
Who gets to determine what the line is?
I'm asking you to work out in your head.
I'm saying the line...
You're not a stupid person.
The line...
When you say, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy.
Yeah, Piers Morgan is like a moralizer, and it's really frustrating to watch as like an internet debate, bro, because I know that people online just don't respond to this. I imagine his audience will, but as far as the internet reaction to this, I don't, as predicted, it's not good.
But I want to know why. Right? When you talk about the more conspiracy theories about him I hear, the more I'm like, well, that's interesting. I'm just like agog that even now you don't seem to really grasp why singing that, releasing it to millions of people is incredibly offensive to Jewish people.
I think at the end of the day, Pierce, I don't think it's for you to determine what speech should be allowed and not allowed.
No, what about you determining it? Why did you delete it?
Why did I delete it?
Yeah.
Because it was just a headache, Pierce.
Because you knew it was wrong?
I just think it's like...
No. She didn't delete it because it was a headache. You can turn off like notifications on a tweet. She was trying to save face, especially because Elon Musk's Twitter has no rules against anti-Semitism. So, X is what it's called now, stealing my branding. Like, there's no other reason she did it other than to try to cover it up, and now she's being forced to answer for it on national television, something she clearly did not look like she was expecting. She seems very, like, surprised and, blindsided anytime things she said in the past get brought up to her in conversations. So I think now she's, like, on the fly, desperately trying to figure out how to handle getting called out for this song that she's since deleted. And she's now being called out for deleting it, and she has to find a way to, kind of hand wave that. Like, yeah, I was just annoyed. Yeah, I was just annoyed. Yeah, right.
Like, it's not the hill I'm trying to die on.
Right, but why did you choose that hill to die on?
I didn't choose this hill to die on.
You did. You released the video.
I also released 10 different videos about 10 different other topics
but they're not talking about Adolf Hitler, are they?
Are we not allowed to talk about him?
You can talk about Hitler right to the point you say the more conspiracy theories I hear about him.
Look, I think that anyone should be allowed to speak about any conspiracy theory on social media. That is my point.
She's trying so hard to Dave Rubin, but she's already blown her cover.
It's not about Hitler. It's not about the
Holocaust. If you really believe what you did wasn't wrong, you wouldn't have deleted it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Don't you think?
I agree with Pearl.
Go on, bro.
If I may just say one thing as an...
She's about to go hard, I can just tell.
Attorney, I have to say that I do agree with her, that I am a free speech purist. And I think that even bigotry should be able to be spoken in the public sphere. But the problem of cancel culture is not against anti-Jewish speech. I think that's very clear. We see the scourge of anti-Semitism and Jew hatred rising on the internet. The problem is that there's no consequences for it, and the way that private companies
how are there no consequences for it?
Canceling is they're going after pro-Jewish speech. They're going after pro-Israel speech.
True.
I can't tell you how many times I'm contacted.
Oh no. Fucking liberals, dude. She was on fire. She was on fire, dude. And then she just doused herself. God. For a second, I thought she was based talking about how these platforms are actually punishing left-wing speech. But then she said, okay, the only pro-Israel speech, quote-unquote, that I can imagine getting censored by these platforms is stuff that is pro-IDF and pro-settlement. Like, the things that have been, like, deemed illegal, deemed as crimes against humanity that Israel is, like, perpetrating, people that make excuses for that and lie about it and spread misinfo about that might be getting banned by YouTube. That's probably what she means. That's a real downer. That explains why there's a lot of hate on this video, because this lady was on fire and then she just started dropping the Zionism takes. Oof. Fuentes is gonna have a field day with this one. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, though. Fuentes' audience are about as far down the pipeline as you can get without, like, actively shooting anything up.
By people, and often my own clients, who are shut down on social media for saying anything positive about Jewish people, about Judaism, or about Israel. Yet these social media companies are unequally applying their own standards. And, you know, while they're, for example, shutting down COVID deniers, they are allowing Holocaust denial speech. They are allowing people like Pearl to spew her hatred. So if we are really free speech purists, and that's what we are...
Remember, this is supposed to be the left side of mainstream politics. This is the left side of mainstream politics. Remember that, guys.
You know, saying that companies they should allow all speech.
Yeah, I hear you. Listen, I would just say this to you, Pearl.
Unless it's incitement to immediate violence.
Right, I would say this to you, Pearl.
So we agree.
No, Pearl, I would say this to you in conclusion.
We're all on the same team now.
In conclusion, look, you deleted this.
Well, she never said that she thought that Pearl should be deplatformed. She said that Pearl and her ideas can't be debated. They have to be exposed to the light. And then went on to say, I don't believe that you should be deplatformed. So she, like, there wasn't, like, she never did disagree with her. Like, Pearl was just imagining a disagreement with this lady on that topic.
So you clearly felt bad about what you'd put up, or you wouldn't have deleted it. You accept that?
No.
You don't accept it?
I just, you know, it's kind of a headache. I was like, well, it just seems like a lot of headache to me.
Right, or did you realize, actually, in that moment, from the visceral reaction from the Jewish community, you crossed a line that you yourself should have worked out was there?
Look, at the end of the day, Pierce, the song was about freedom of speech. It wasn't one way or the other. The song was about why can't we have these conversations on social media, and why do I keep getting...
About why Hitler may be a good guy.
And why do I keep seeing people get banned on social media? My point is, I don't think there should be a line unless you're inciting violence.
Here's a line.
Wait, Pierce, would we agree on that?
Listen...
Yes or no? Yes or no? Would we agree?
Here's my point.
No? Yes?
You haven't
no?
answered my question.
Okay.
I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I want to know why. I want to know why what?
We can't have the conversation without being canceled by the left and the right. I just don't understand why you guys edit. You guys cut out
the conversation is about whether or not Hitler is a good guy. So just say that you want people who think Hitler's a good guy to have a platform. Just say it outright. Stop trying to hand wave it as I just want people to be able to have the conversation. Just say it bluntly. Stop trying to sugarcoat what you actually want to happen.
Wait a minute, Paul.
You did 75. Okay.
The conversation about whether Hitler was a good guy. You want to have that conversation?
I think that
he murdered 12 million people,
my whole
including
point,
6 million Jewish people on the Holocaust.
My whole point is we should be able to have that conversation.
But whether he's a good guy?
Yes, because it causes more commotion when you're starting to censor people.
I don't agree.
Like, I think that's wrong. I think it's
agree.
wrong to censor anybody.
Well, you know what? You can have that conversation. You had that conversation. You posted it. You haven't been cancelled. I've had you on the show because I thought you might, with time, to think about this, regret what you did, because you can clearly, you're not stupid. You do understand the offence it caused. And wanting to have the right to debate whether Hitler's a good guy is just cretinous.
No, I want anybody to be able to speak on any platform. That was the point of the song.
All right. Let's leave it there.
Can I point out a nuance here?
I've got Brooke, I'm sorry. I'm afraid we've run out of time, but thank you for coming on the program. I greatly appreciate it.
All right. God, that did suck towards the end there. It was going very well and towards until the very end. We have free speech until someone says something that others don't agree with. Free speech is free speech, regardless if you agree. Her face when she couldn't believe Piers ain't her best friend, laughing, crying emoji. Funny to hear Morgan use offense as an argument unironically. Who gets to determine the line, Pierce? Do you get to determine it? Does she get to determine it? Yes. Piers was desperately trying to get Pearl to admit she saw her error because he's worried about getting himself canceled. Her face at the beginning, Lamau, she did not know you were going to bring this up. The irony of Piers arguing the censorship on Piers Uncensored is money. You have, yeah. So basically, like, you got a mix of people that are dunking on Pearl, which is nice to see. But then you've got a fair amount of conservatives who clearly are Pearl fans of sorts, though they hate her. So it's like, it's a weird dynamic she has with her fan base, who are calling out Piers Morgan for being pro-censorship or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. In reality, if you are against the idea of platforms having TOS, you are actually pro-censorship because these are private platforms, and just a digital version of, say, a public or a private space that is open to the public, like a restaurant, for example. So let's say, much like a restaurant, if someone comes in and they start shitting on the tables, the owner's allowed to kick them out. If a guy comes in and starts saying the N-word, the owner's allowed to kick them out. Simply for that. The same applies to platforms. If you were to take away that freedom, you would be taking away the freedom of private property owners to determine what is allowed to happen on their private property. All these platforms are private, but they are open to the public. That's different. That's a very different thing from being public. The public space. They are private spaces open to the public, like a restaurant. They close, and you're not allowed to be on the premises when you're not allowed to be there. The owners are allowed to call the police and have you escorted off the premises if they don't want you there for any given reason. Within certain limits, obviously. Like, obviously you're not allowed to deny service based on race or whatever. But yeah, that's a pretty capitalistic argument. It's not a capitalistic argument. It's me acknowledging the reality of what actually happens. Like, it's not me like championing capitalism, it's me saying what actually happens right now in our current system. That's not championing it, that's just explaining it. Because I'm sure if you take the set of people who think Pearl is awful, combine it with the set of people who think Pierce is awful, you get the entirety of humanity? Yeah, probably. Zan, how do you know they would kick you out for that? Kick me out of where? Oh, out of a restaurant? Yeah, I'm pretty sure most restaurants would.